we saw each other's grind and we aspired to be like each other. And all it takes is usually just one good conversation, then you're good to go. And it doesn't have to be the person with like the biggest following in the group. It doesn't have to be the person who's the most popular. It doesn't have to be the person who's had, and then when I do have new ideas, I can bounce it off with them. And sometimes they'll be like, oh, that's great. You know what? I will help you with this. Let me hop in a video with you. And then sometimes they'll be like, you know what, Othaeron, maybe that's not the best. It's a little oversaturated. You should try something else. I'd say when it comes to like building community for the creative arts in Edmonton, everyone has done a really good job at building it up. I see the most overwhelming time in my life is honestly like right now.
To be great, you need to tip the scale on the other end.
That friend is pushing themselves. I need to be like that too. And that's why I love all my friends. But the thing I love most about them is how hungry they all are. Even if it is the same as someone, it's your dream. I don't know if I'll be here my entire life.
Hello, you beautiful people. Welcome back to the Long-Term Podcast. I'm your host, Advin Villa. Today, we have a University of Alberta food science student and local creative, Othaeron Ross. We will discuss creative arts, balancing life, and dream chasing. Othaeron is a very ambitious and driven person. He is clearly going to go far in life, and just at the age of 20, he has made big moves, and he's a business owner of this thrift brand, and he loves fashion, and he will do whatever it takes to get after it. And not only that, he is a massive part of the community in Edmonton, and yeah, he is really, really supportive towards his friends and the community, and I'm thankful for him. If you're a person that wants to get out there and wants to be more creative and wants some advice, this episode is for you. Everybody, welcome Othaeron Ross. Yeah, dude. Welcome to the Long-Term Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Othaeron Ross, everyone.
What's up, everyone?
So what role do the creative arts play in shaping your identity and how you express yourself?
I would say, well, since I was a kid, I've always been more of the creative type. I played sports, I did a lot of stuff, but I was also the kid Naruto running around class. And
Naruto?
Yeah, Naruto running around class, playing Beyblades. Like I was always a mix between like the nerd and the sport person and the class clown. So when it came to like getting older and dabbling in the creative arts, it wasn't foreign to me and it felt so natural to my identity. I always wanted to, either it was making videos or working on different art projects with people and doing so many different things. It just felt natural to me. I always wanted to create pieces of art, whether it was mine or even just assisting someone with that. And I feel like it really makes me feel like myself, having something tangible and something that I can be like, I worked on this and this is me on a film, or this is me in some sort of way being represented through that. Kind of like how Gordon Ramsay says like, oh, this is me on a plate. It's like, this is me in my art, whether that is like even my fashion videos, whether it's working on a short movie, whether it's just doing anything. Like I've always seen that as me more so putting myself into what I'm actually making. And that's kind of helped me shape my identity throughout the years.
And how do you know which kind of endeavor to travel? And like you said, there's movies and short videos, and then there's your fashion, right? How do you know which one to go?
I'd honestly say like I found a calling to everything. There's nothing I won't try at least once. So I feel like if you're not at least willing to try something once, you're not going to know whether you like it or not. That extends to a lot of things in life, but I think especially with the creative arts, it's like, imagine if Childish Gambino or Donald Glover was just a singer, or if he was like just an actor. It would be labeling him and boxing him into something where you can be so much more. So I've always wanted to take a chance and be like, you know what? First, it was the fashion videos, which was just like me and my friend, the owner of Rework Studios, Macario. One day on the bus, we were just talking. He was already into fashion, and I was kind of getting into it. And I was like, we should really dedicate to ourselves to making videos. And then he started with it. And then I think about a couple months or like 6 to 7 months later, I followed in it. And at first I was just not really putting my full 2 feet into it. But then once I really got into it and started getting consistent, like it became something that I was really into. And then through that, I got associated with different kind of people. Shout out Antonio. He got me into the modeling aspect of it, which is really cool because I was able to help out certain people like pushing forward their brands who were like, I just need a model. I'm like, I want to uplift the community as much as the community uplifts me. So I'm willing to be like, you know what, whether it's paid or not, like I'll come help you out. I'll step in, even if it's for like a minor role. If I'm just a background person in your video, or if I want to be the main model, like I'm willing to do that. And then within that, later on, it led to acting because I was like, you know what, why not? If I have the opportunity to explore that, I might as well. And then at first, I was just an extra in a short film, and then I got into a more prominent role where I was a speaking character. And it was really fun because I got to explore so many different things because a lot of my characters' aspects were just improv. It's the Waiting Room. If you guys ever want to check it out, it's a great production team. It was one of the most fun things I've ever done. And it was fun just being in that creative form where I can say whatever I want. I can do whatever I want. I can express myself on the camera. And then I also just got to be myself because my character had more comedic aspects to him. So a lot of my role was just me thinking of whatever I wanted, saying it, and then just came off however it was. And then through that now, it's like seeing that the people in my community are like working on short films, working on commercials, doing all these different things. Like I will never want to box myself in because I won't know my own potential unless I go and try it. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And at the end of the day, there's not much I can do about that, but I'll at least know that I try. And that's what I think matters most.
Yeah. Like, how are you ever going to know that it is for you if you don't put in the time, if you don't put in the effort? And okay, you try it once, it's not for you. There we go. But if you've never tried it and you kind of make up a narrative in your head that, oh, that's not for you, then you'll never know. But it's really cool that you're willing to help the community, and through that you find pieces of yourself and you become more you by being a part of all these projects, right? And you build this entire community where everybody supports each other. And I know it's a struggle these days. I know I'm on the U of A subreddits, and a lot of people they can't find their people, right? And it seems like you've done a great job not only pursuing the creative arts, but also finding the people that's for you, that where you can grow, right? And how do you go about doing that? Like when it comes to talking to people, right? Are you more just complimenting them, or is it, how do you go about being authentic?
I would say when it comes to like making those connections, I try to be very upfront. Like I'm not the kind of person where I want to lie to someone to try and get somewhere. I'm not going to say, oh, I love your brand just because I want to model for them. I'm not going to say, oh, I love this because I want to work with them. Like, I think if you're going to be upfront about something, you should. If you don't like it, well, you don't have to necessarily express it, but don't go further, associate yourself with something that you're not a fan of. I think like most of the connections that I've made at school and even outside of school, I say just within my creative community, a lot of it was just like we saw each other's grind and we aspired to be like each other. So I would say examples like my friend Shemi that I met. We met on campus because he saw my fashion videos and he's like, just walked up to me on campus one day. He's like, hey, you're Othaeron. I mess with your videos. We started talking and it was cool. And then we'd see each other on campus. And then it's like weeks later, we're like, I'm going to his photo shoots on a ranch and stuff and helping him out with that. And it's like, I would say when it comes to talking to people, if you're someone who's like a little afraid or you don't exactly know what steps to take, I would say just start off with one person. If you see someone who you like their stuff, you know what they do, or even if you don't know what they do, just take that step and be like, start a conversation, say, hey, I really like what you do. And from there, you never know where it's going to go. It could lead to them becoming a friend. It could be to that one interaction just being whatever it is. But at least, you reached out and made that connection. Even then, like tons of people that I've met, it's just been like, hey, I mess with your stuff. And then I see them at one market and I see them at the next and I see them at the next. And then next thing you know, it's like, I know that person. I can be like, hey, do you want to step into one of my videos? Even though like to me, I'm probably just an online stranger. But now it's like you're fostering that connection. And then through that, all it takes is for you to be kind of one person in the community. Once you get yourself in there, you're going to build more connections and you're going to become more associated with it. I say, like, if you know the Lost and Found Market, me and my friends have been going there since around 2023, I think, was when we started really going there. And then through that, like, just going there, experiencing it, talking to different people. Like, I've met a lot of people within that circle, vendors, like the actual owners, and everyone is just so open to, so everyone's open and accepting to, letting you join in on the fun. Whether it's like, oh, do you want to make content here? You meet certain people who are like the content creators in that circle. Whether it's just like a vendor, you meet the vendors in that circle. And all it takes is usually just one good conversation, then you're good to go. So I think if you are out there and you're like, I'm really struggling to meet people in my community, just try and have one good conversation. Even if it's just like a quick little thing, you never know where it's going to lead. I've had singular conversations where it's like a quick compliment. And then the next time I see them, we're talking for 15 minutes, exchanging social medias. And then it's like, oh yeah, I'll work on this with you kind of thing. So you really never know where it's going to go unless you take that first step. So I'd always say just take the first step to get into a community, because most communities don't have closed doors. They always want new people. And also, I would say it's important to show what you can bring to the table as well. If you're hungry, show that you're hungry. If you have different ideas, bring those to the table, because a lot of the times people have different ideas that they want to bounce off with others, but they don't always have those people like within their community that's like, I need a new fresh face so I can bounce off these ideas. So I'd say biggest thing is simply take that first step. Try and even work with one person. And it doesn't have to be the person with like the biggest following in the group. It doesn't have to be the person who's the most popular. It doesn't have to be the person who's had the biggest brand with the most sales. It can even just be like who you think is the coolest and the most approachable. Start off with that, and you never know where it'll lead you.
Yeah. We all have these different ideas of art, right? And I think starting a business is art.
Absolutely.
And even studying at times, right? And however form that you take it in, and just approaching people can be an art form in itself.
Yeah.
And it's really just exposing yourself to the different types of people so you know what you want. Because there's a place for everyone, man. Whether you're a person that is really into rock music, whether you're a person that's into fitness, whether you're a person that likes Legos, there's something for everyone. And when you approach people, right, it's kind of this dance, it's like back and forth, and it takes two to work, right? Because some people may not vibe with you. They just don't really like you, and you can see it in their demeanor. You can really feel it. It's palpable. And hey, that's not for you. A friend to everyone is a friend to no one. But then when you do find that person that, they really chime in on your idea and they actually want you to grow. And not only that, they ask questions that pique your interest, that improve you as a person, not only in the creative outlet, but also enrich your ideas. Right? It's like, like that, I want to start a podcast, but like, I feel like I don't really have time, but like I could do this, but like, why not just start now, bro?
Yeah,
I'll be your guest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the way this podcast all worked was I had an idea and I presented it to some friends, to some strangers, and some of them are like, oh, it's too saturated. And some of them are like, yeah, do it, man. Like you could do this. There's all these different ideas that came out of the people that I just asked. And all it takes is just to ask. Like there's all these creative blocks and a lot of self-doubt that we have to go through. But all it takes is effort. A little bit of effort goes a long way, right? You don't need to have this polished kind of form, the end product. As soon as you start, like you're going to look back and realize just how terrible you were back then. Like if you listen to my very first episodes, like I abused filler words, right? I kept saying right all the time. I didn't really know how to listen to people, and I didn't really know how to compliment someone's stories. But now I've kind of gauged it, and now I know what to look for. I know what I want, and I don't know. And with conversation, right? It's tough because you don't know if you want to talk about discipline. Do we talk about fashion? Do we start joking around? Right?
Yeah.
It's tough, but there's no guideline, right? Like you can talk about anything that feels right for you. What makes you you, right? And going, I like what you said about like you can't fake anything because eventually people will see through it.
They'll know. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll know, and not only that, you'll feel a lot of cognitive dissonance, and you kind of feel resentful towards that person, and you go, huh, this doesn't really feel like me. I don't really like their project. Why am I faking this? You know. How do you overcome creative blocks or challenges when working on a project?
I would say, and I'm coming from the position of privilege where I've surrounded myself with a lot of people who are also eager and hungry. And genuinely, I think for me, the biggest thing is when I like get to a creative block, I usually just first take a step back and try to analyze like what is stopping me right now. Like right now, I've been kind of struggling to balance like, going to school, having a daily routine, and also making videos and also pursuing like different creative endeavors. The first thing I did is I just took a step back and I said like, what do I need to do, or what do I need to prioritize right now so that I can set myself up in a better position? What can I do? What times do I have? What kind of videos do I maybe need to shift to? What content style do I think will work best with what I have right now on the table? And then once I get to that root problem and I can figure out like, okay, what's that? Then I move on to step 2 of what's stopping this creative flow, or what was working for me before with my creative flow, where I could just create new videos, do this, do that, find new ways to push my videos out. And then I try to look back at look at what I'm doing right now, and then kind of compare and contrast. Like, okay, this is working, but this worked before. This is working, but this worked before. And then through that, combining it with the first level, I can be like, okay, I'll try this new style, but I'll implement parts from my old videos, and then I'll work it into this time of day. That's what I've been really trying to do, just so I can make sure that, I'm not completely shutting myself off. Because at the end of the day, not everyone's going to be like a Kendrick Lamar, where you take 7 years of a creative stoppage, but then you can come back out with something completely new.
Did you do that? 7 years?
Between Damn, his album Damn, and Mr. Around the Big Steppers was 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Or no, it was 5 years. Wait, no.
Okay, but still.
Yeah, still a long time.
Long time. A
long time between his last few albums.
I did not know that. I guess I just listened to Kendrick throughout that 5 years, and I didn't realize.
Yeah, you don't feel it, and then it's like, oh, you get this new music back, and then you realize like, oh, he took a big break. Mm-hmm. But I would say those are the main things. I also like I said, I come from the position of privilege where I've surrounded myself with a lot of friends who are like very creative. Almost everyone in my main circle is working on their own thing, whether it's like a clothing brand, whether it's like my friends who do modeling alongside me, whether it's like people who do just make commercials, people who direct, people who act. Like I've gone to align myself with, I think, some of like the best possible people in the creative scene in Edmonton. Everyone's so eager and everybody's pushing to do their best. So sometimes when I feel like I'm at a creative blockage, I can always just go to them and be like, I don't know what's stopping me right now. Like, can you help me through this? And they're always willing to be like, you know what? If you're at this point, like maybe try this, do this, try this. And it's really comforting having that circle around me to where I can have friends to rely on who will be like, if you're at this point, maybe try this. If you're at this point, try this. If this isn't working, if you can't come up with new ideas, try this. And then when I do have new ideas, I can bounce it off with them. And sometimes they'll be like, oh, that's great. You know what? I will help you with this. Let me hop in a video with you. And then sometimes they'll be like, you know what, Othaeron, maybe that's not the best. It's a little oversaturated. You should try something else. So those are probably my biggest things when I get to creative blockages. And then like, you wouldn't think of it when it comes to fashion videos, but it happens. Like a lot of the stuff that's out there is a lot of people make like just regular outfit of the days. A lot of people make like different angles, and a lot of it has to do with what do you have on hand, because there's always going to be someone with like a better camera, better equipment, more funding towards their stuff. They have more time, so you have to factor that in. And I think probably the one time I had a creative block is just I had this series where I was basically just very simple, it was a fit check kind of thing, but I labeled it as like documenting my outfits until I got to this amount of followers, and it helped me like just keep a routine of being like I could do this, try this out, and then like but fit it under that label of the video. Then like once I got to a certain goal, which was like my target goal, after a while, it felt like, do I just want to continue this? Because like I could just continue this until I'm like, oh, I'm at a document my outfits till I hit 1 million followers. And it's like, I don't know if I necessarily want my content to just stay in that kind of cycle, which kind of put me in a weird zone. But then I realized like I can implement my different skills into that. So I would say those are my main things when I get into the creative blockage. Like just relying on your friends too. You should always have people that you can rely on to help you through those blockages when you're in the creative scene, because there's so many different people with so many different ideas. And it's not saying like, oh, you should go steal an idea from a friend, but more so just be like, hey, I need someone to bounce some ideas off of. Do you have anything that you've wanted to try that maybe like I can work into my stuff? And I think that's okay. You don't have to always be like, oh, I need my stuff to be 100% unique to me. The reason why, like in sports, the reason why, like, you had stuff like the tiki taka in soccer, you had stuff like the triangle offense in basketball, all of those different things, like, eventually led to what we have today in sports. And it's like, it's not that they just directly copied it, they took inspiration from it and then implemented it back into what they use in their own creative styles. So when it comes to having those creative blockages, it's not wrong to look to another source and then just be like, you know what, I'm going to use this and implement it to myself to get past that blockage. That's what I'd say.
Yeah. There's all these different iterations, right? Of, okay, you've tried that route. There's literally a mountain so massive in that route that you can't get over it. Like, it's too difficult. Maybe you go out, you take a step back, travel down this road. Okay, this road, it's doable. Yes, there's a bunch of spikes, but you can build a bridge over it, and you can't do it alone. Maybe you'll phone a friend. Hey man, I need this material. Come by. Let's build this bridge together. And throughout all these different iterations of you trying and then failing and then trying and then, oh, succeeding a little bit and then, oh, a little setback, you realize that, oh, that works. I'm going to keep doing that.
Yeah.
And then eventually you improve upon that, and you improve on maybe the sound quality. Maybe you improve on the way you conduct yourself, your speech, the way you conversate with your friends. Maybe it's not even about the art itself. Maybe it's just about how you connect with people. It's like, oh, I really admire the person that just is really enthusiastic about my project. Maybe I should be more enthusiastic. And you can't really, yes, like there's an objective metric of like, yes, I'm going to keep doing this after like 1,000 followers. But eventually, when you do more reflecting, like, is this something that I want to keep doing until I have 1 million followers or after 10 years?
Yeah.
And then, but we're constantly evolving because that chapter ended. And so you're on to the next. And I like what you said about reaching out to people and asking them for advice or maybe a helping hand, because we can't do this alone, right? There's life in general, whether it be your career, whether it be your health, right? Or just, mentally, it can be tough. Like putting yourself out there, man. Like,
it's not easy.
It's not easy, because not only are you going to get hate, because you get to a certain viral clip. I don't know if you've ever had this, but the biggest predictor for when you're exposing yourself to other people that you've never met is hate. Because that's when you're reaching people that don't know who you are. Because your friends are going to be biased. They're going to go, yeah, Theron, like, that's great. Fire. Yeah, that's fire. Great. It's because they, you don't want to be friends with someone that's talking shit. Like there's constructive criticism, but if somebody just leaves, oh, this Chinaman is really condescending. Like, that was a comment, by the way. And I'm like, okay. Like, then you've hit a person that doesn't know you, right? Has never interacted with you and they just assume that you are this person, this online persona as you, and they leave a hate comment. And that's not only you're battling that, but you're also battling your self-doubt, your shame, your lack of motivation on some days. And it's like, am I really cut out for this? Right? Is this really something that I want? What about my digital footprint? Like, am I going to be hired in the
Where's it
future?
gonna look 10 years?
Yeah, exactly. Am I like getting clowned on? Or I see that there's 100 people that sent it to group chats, and are they making fun of me? You know what I mean? There's all these thoughts swirling in your head, but you just got to be comfortable with it. And you're going to ask your friends, like, hey, what do you think of this? And if you have friends that are truthful, they won't just delude you into hopping on American Idol and you embarrassing yourself.
Yeah.
You know, you ever seen that?
Yeah.
Like I've seen that. I always wondered, man, I'm like, why are these people on this show when they clearly have a terrible voice? But it's because the people that loved them lied to them. And here they are in delusion.
Thinking they're the shit.
Yeah, exactly. So in your opinion, how can creative arts contribute to building stronger communities?
Man, I could go on this for like forever, because I think my experience throughout university has been all about like building and meeting people through different communities. And like, I would say like most of my friends that I've made right now are like my new friends I've been through the creative scene in Edmonton. Whether it's like fashion, I made a lot of friends through fashion. I've met new people. I've made new bonds through like the movie scene and with different people I've interacted with. And there's a lot of crossover too. I'd say one good thing about Edmonton is that like there's a lot of people who are in a lot of different spaces. So you might go to like you might go model with someone 1 week, 2 weeks later you're seeing them at a short movie set. 2 weeks later you're seeing them at like a music video. To a month later, next thing you know, they're at the Lost and Found market. Oh, and it's like the next week after that, Decades market. Like there's the Edmonton community is already really strong, I'd say. I think it's unfortunate that we don't have the outlook of like a Toronto, where it's like a major city where you just have like massive creators everywhere, and it's like you can build up off of that. Or somewhere like even in America, where overall they just have like higher quantities of people watching watching stuff. You have most of the biggest creators in different spheres are from either like US or somewhere in Asia. And I think unfortunately for Canada, when you think about the major cities, I know this blew up of like the 4 major cities in Canada. In my opinion, you're looking at like Vancouver, Toronto, like those kind of cities where it's like the really big ones. And when you think of Edmonton, nobody thinks of like creative arts. You think of oil fields, you think of the Oilers, you think of things that don't relate to the creative arts really. So when it comes to actually like building community, or what it's done to like build up the community, it's like the people within the Edmonton community, I'd say, are very accepting. Like whatever it is you may have, or whatever is your niche, there's someone for that. And so you don't see that at face value, because we're such a objectively, kind of redneck, you would say, like kind of hick city. Not anything crazy like when you're getting to the small cities, but overall it's like we're known for like our Oilers, we're known for our like Canadian conservative kind of identity as a city. But there are so many people doing so many amazing things in the city. And when it comes to like building up the community, everyone is very accepting. Like when I first got into modeling, it was literally just because I asked. I was like, I knew someone who facilitated or Antonio, he facilitated a lot of stuff with his brands because he owned a white room. And through him, I was able to just be like, hey, I want to get into this. Let me know if you have any jobs. He's like, I got you. Whenever he had something available, he would send to me. He'd be like, yo, do you want to try this out? Boom. And then I got into that. Then once again, through him, when it came to like the acting, he was able to be like, hey, I know you're hungry. I know you have good drive. If you ever want to do this, just let me know. And I was like, sure. He got me set up to that. And it's like, not everyone's going to have that connection. But when it comes to the community, everyone's really accepting. And at the end of the day, whether you're looking at it for career wise, it's a little bit different because like if you're doing it just for the money, of course you're not going to build as many connections, and then you might not have the role in the community that you want because not everyone has the funds right now. Like a lot of the people that I am working with or like have interacted with were either in school or like early into our careers, were like young people like 18, 20. If we're within that young adult range where it's like we might not have all the resources to give you $5,000 for a photo shoot, or like even $500 for a photo shoot. Like we're all still striving to do what we need to do. Granted, there may be some people who can pay thousands of dollars. If you are, like, contact me because I'm willing to work for even less. But you know, when it comes to the community, as long as you're open and as long as you're like showing that you're hungry and you want to put in the work in, you will meet the right people and it'll go right for you. And then you may not have the ability to, be in school and meet all these new people. But like even social media wise, there's a lot of people that you can reach out to who will say like be open to message you. Some of my friends have had people just message them and then they lead to conversations, boom, they're modeling for them. It's like all you really need to do is take, like I said earlier, take the first step. But Edmonton has a very accepting community. Once you kind of get, I'd say once you get into one space, it's very easy to hop into other spaces because if you show you're good at one thing, a lot of the skills are going to translate. I'm not saying like, oh, every actor is going to be a great musician. Most likely, if you're a good actor, you're probably going to be a decent model. If you're a decent model, you're probably going to be, or you might have good fashion sense. If you have good fashion sense, you can translate that to content creation. And if you have content creation, you can be in a music video and then you lead back into music. So it's like a lot of it, while it may seem like, oh, you can only do this, you can only do that. There's a lot of overlap in between them that people might not realize. So I'd say when it comes to like building community for the creative arts in Edmonton, everyone has done a really good job at building it up. And I just don't think we have like the platform yet as a city to really be seen as like the creative scene, unfortunately. And we do have a really strong one inside the city, but I just don't think it has the widespread effect yet of somewhere like a Toronto, where it's like you think of that, it's like, or like New York with New York Fashion Week, stuff like that. We just don't have the community is big inside the city, but it hasn't had that like super worldwide reach. I say that like my friend didn't just shoot a commercial for Jake Paul like last week, but still overall, like not everyone's going to get that opportunity. Shout out to Shemi for doing that. But you know, stuff like that, we're still building up towards it. And I like to shout out, I'd say more so the brand owners. Edmonton has a lot of great brand owners that are doing a lot of great things. I've got to meet quite a few of them. And it's like when you look at aspects like that within the creative scene and how it builds community, those guys are always willing to accept people. Once you have a good conversation with them, usually I've yet to meet someone in the community where I'm like, I really don't mess with them, or like I've gotten weird vibes from them, because most of them have all just been like so upfront. They're like, this is my story, this is my product. Hey, if you wanna invest in it, like cool. If not, like it is what it is. And through that, it makes it more inviting for other people, because like I'm not the biggest person in Edmonton. I'm barely even probably one of the biggest creators, but like I know some people know me. So it's like when I see myself having conversations with these people, who knows, it might inspire someone else to have that conversation, and then they get brought into the community. So I'd say that's like the biggest things within the community aspect of the creative arts in Edmonton. Like I love the creative community in Edmonton. Like everyone is so amazing. And I can't even say that, including you. So,
thank you, man.
Even though I didn't mention podcasting as one of the aspects, but like that plays into it too. So,
hey, man, like there's so many people that want to start the business. They want to start YouTube. They want to start a podcast. They want to do modeling, right? But they never get to it because it's like there's a lot of these excuses as to, yeah, Edmonton's just not the place to be at. Like I still live with my parents. I don't have my own camera and all these excuses. But I could make the argument that, oh, you do have it in you to start the podcast. You do have it in you to build a community. And before LA or Toronto, Vancouver, before they became creative, right? before they had a creative community, they didn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like somebody had an idea to create a community to facilitate their ideas and interests. Same way where, buildings were not built. I know that sounds kind of, what's it called? So simple. But before anything happened, it was nothing.
Someone had to do the first.
Somebody had to
first step,
take that trudge. And for leaders, I know you seem like you're a person that takes initiative. You seem like you're a leader. You grab life by the balls, and you do it. You just attend that event. Because I hear so many times people in our generation go, "There's nothing to do in Edmonton, bro. Like dude, if you wanted to, there's so many things to do in Edmonton. It's actually suffocating because every weekend I went out to an event in the summer to make the best out of it. And it became too much because I went to Asia Festival. I went to Taste of Edmonton. I went to this Filipino festival. I went to the marathon, the Edmonton Service Marathon, and I could name off 100 more, but I couldn't get to every single one because I wanted to go to the gym. I needed to do this. I needed to I need to get my sleep.
Yeah. Sleep is,
Bro, if you really wanted to, you could be talking to people in the creative industry and the business industry. If you just search it up on Google, it's all about awareness too, and to what's going on, and you will find a community and you will find some people to be your friend, to make you who you are, to sharpen your skills. There's absolutely no excuses why you can't grow in Edmonton.
No, especially I think because we are a smaller city, it's like you might not get to that superstar status. You also have like more room to grow because there's smaller, tighter knit community.
Exactly.
So people are going to want to work with each other more.
Yeah. It's like people are consuming their content from Americans, right? Maybe there's Hollywood, there's all these influencers, and they're all based in Silicon Valley and Hollywood and all these kind of very, very saturated places where everybody goes to. But why don't you build it around your hometown? Like, is there a creator in your hometown? Like in Sherwood Park, there's nobody that makes TikToks really. And so I wanted to be that person. I wanted to, in Edmonton and at the U of A, I think there's only a handful of people that have taken podcasting seriously. Because I've been doing this for almost 2 years now, I guess. And like, you just don't stop. You got to be consistent. Because there's going to be those days where I don't feel like doing it. I don't feel like showing up. But you have to, because you owe it to yourself, to your dreams. Because you may not want to in the moment, but you'll look back in the future and realize just how brave and how courageous you were at that moment, even though you didn't want to. That was what you needed at that time. Exactly. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the grind. If you don't feel, the biggest thing I say about Edmonton is like a lot of people are on their grind. Everyone's grinding, whether it's like whatever niche they're doing. We have a very grind heavy city because it's like a smaller community. You need to grind to get up there. Like you can take days off, like realistically you can, but like when you get to a certain point where your days off become like you're done. And then you have to kind of restart from the ground up, which isn't bad. A lot of times restarting from the ground up is good because you can reinvent your style, find things that work for you. But if you really if you want to strive in the creative scene, you do have to have a grind set. You can't be someone who's like, I want to half dedicate myself to this. I want to be like, or you want to just partially be into it, kind of like, oh, I'm going to dip my feet into it. If you really want to find success, and this kind of goes into anything, you do have to put a certain amount of effort into it. And then when you have a smaller city too, it's the people that put their real effort into it that are going to expand outside of it. I have a friend who I followed him when he was at 20 followers probably in last September. And we just met. He moved to the city. Now he's 100,000 followers. He was the biggest creator probably within like the Edmonton, St. Albert area now, or one of the biggest ones. And it's like, he just never stopped posting. He posted every single day while he was in school. He posted every single day during summer, and eventually he had the one video blow up, and it led to all these different things. And I specifically remember because I was texting him that night. He said, I have a really good video. And I said, that video is going to blow up. And then he woke up to having like 1 million views. And then it all started from there. So when it comes to like having this or being in the creative scene, you do have to put a certain amount of effort into it. And a lot of people think like they see what your output is, or they see what you do and like, oh, it's easy. It's like, you can't look at something like that and think it's easy, because it's like, oh, you can post a 12-second video every single day. But it's like, you might think they're taking 12 seconds out of their day, but you don't know how many tries it took. You don't know the editing afterwards. You don't know what else went into it. And it takes a lot more than people think. But saying that it shouldn't stop you from wanting to do it. You should still be willing to enter that mode and be in that grind set to where you can get to where you want to go. And in the city, like, there's people who are posting videos every single day. And it's like, they might not see the most numbers, but at the end of the day, they're building themselves up in the community. And people recognize that and they see that. And it's admirable, because it's like, oh, I can see you putting the effort in. You're going to make it someday. I'm going to invest in that. Boom. Now you're in a good circle. And then you might see the success that you want. So whether it's even something like podcasting, like, a lot of people probably tried it and then like made 3 videos and they're like, oh, I'm good. And it's like, no, you kind of have to be in that mode if you want to make your name in the creative community too. You can't just have like a little stint and then just be like, oh, I'm done. And it's like, even though you might not be posting about it, if you are still actively making doing the things, and it's like, they might not see it on your page directly, but as long as you're making those moves, like, you're going to see the success come from it, whether it be social media followers, if that's what you want, or it's through building connections. You're going to build more connections because people are going to see, this is someone I can work with and like who's ready to work. So.
Yeah. And then the internal equilibrium, it's like, how much are you willing to stomach, right? All those times, or, somebody cancels, or a video doesn't take off, or you just become comfortable with rejection to a certain point, right? It's and then when that one video does hit, it's a phenomenal feeling. But I think every person is essentially like a startup, right? We're all trying to market ourselves. We're all trying to up ourselves, to provide value onto this world, to increase our value, right? So that we're recognized and we can live a life that's true to ourselves, And if you keep on reflecting, you'll eventually find a niche for you. And I really, really admire your lens onto all this, because you seem to see the good in Edmonton, and you see the people, and you want to uplift them. And I know there's, like, I don't know about you, but there's always that hint of jealousy as well when a friend or a person that you've been talking to like blows up. It's like, oh, that should have been me. But at the same time, right, you're happy for them.
Exactly.
I think both can coexist, right? You're happy for them and you're kind of going, that could have been me,
I think it should coexist though. Like, when you see like their friend blow up, you should be like, oh, that should have been me. But instead of saying like, that should have been me, you should make it, that will be me. Like, I will get to that point too. Yeah. That's a big thing too.
Healthy competition.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Because some people will see that and go, that should have been me. Fuck that person. I don't want to associate with them anymore. Like, what am I doing? I should just give up. Right? No, don't take that route. Take that as inspiration. Take that as, oh, I'm connected to that person. I can ask them how they did it, or I can study their different angles and the time that they put in, because there's a lot of psychology in the craft, right? There's a lot of philosophy, and there's just little things that you miss, right? Why did people pay attention to that, not mine? There's a reason, right? I think Mr. Beast calls, if you replace the algorithm with people's attention, it works just the same. You know, when people say, "Oh, the algorithm's not nice to me," it's like, no, the people just didn't want it.
Yeah,
You know,
not it.
you have to be truthful to yourself. What strategies or habits have helped you maintain balance between schoolwork and personal passions?
I think like genuinely, a calendar is a lifesaver. Like a calendar is a lifesaver, and like I would say find taking a week to find a routine has always worked for me. Whether it's like, okay, I'm gonna stop content for a week, but then like I'm gonna map everything out with school, or it's like, okay, I'm gonna not go for the to the gym this week, but then I'm gonna map out my content and then figure it out. I think like taking a week to just like or taking a bit of time to really establish a proper routine has always worked for me. I haven't been the best of like following my routines, but I know like I can look and be like, okay, I set this in place. Let me commit myself to it. And then whether I'm 100% following it, or if it's like I'm breaking my own rules, but in a way that's like I'm slotting in moments where I'll do this instead of working on this, or I'll like implement this instead of doing or taking this time instead of doing this. Like having a good routine is always good. And then I also think when it comes to balancing like life, school, creative arts and stuff, sometimes you might have to shift your content style, and that's it. If you're someone who spent the whole summer making long form content and then you realize like, oh crap, I can't do that anymore. One, you have to be transparent with yourself and be like, okay, I can't do this anymore. Or if I want to, I'm gonna have to do it in a different way. Instead of taking um, an hour out of your day to have like a recording session, you might have to be like, you know what? I'll take 25 minutes out of my day, get a good, better recording session, or like shorten my video, or I might extend it to 2 days. You know, do what you need to do to make sure if you want to make that same content type, it has to fit within your life, and make sure you have balance. I think balance is probably one of the most important things in life. Like you have to understand where your priorities lie. I'm in school right now, and I understand like at the end of the day, content creation is cool, but will it take me to places that I've never been? Yes, but it's like, do I want that to be my career? Am I going to school for 4 or however many years to be a content creator, or am I going to school to get my degree, kind of thing? And it's like, if I wanted to go to social media school, I would go take a degree in social marketing or something. But it's like that's not exactly what I'm doing. I'm going like I'm in food science right now, and it's like a science based course. So you're gonna have like labs, you're gonna have long lectures, you're gonna have lots of homework where you need to do extensive studying and stuff like that. And for me, I can't just be like, oh, I'm gonna miss my lab report to go record a video. Like I had to make my priorities straight. I think for other people, it's important to set boundaries on yourself and understand like, oh, I want to make my long form content, but you know, it might not just work. Let me shift it to this. Then you have to accept that, but you also have to make it so if your long form content was, I don't know, let's say you're talking about movie reviews and you would do 10-minute movie reviews. A lot of the times you can shorten what you said in 10 minutes to 1 minute, if not less. And it's about having that shift that's important. And then when I mentioned transparency, also, it's important to, if you are shifting your routine to make things work, be transparent with your audience and say, like, this is going on right now. I'm not as available as I want to be. I need to take the step back and let them know, like, hey, this is going to be a shift that's going on. And it's like whether you have 100 followers, whether you have 1,000 followers, whether you have 1 million followers, you don't know how many people watching your content are relying on your video every day. So when it comes to that, that person who watched your 10-minute video every day, they're probably waiting for that every single day for you to drop. If you just out of nowhere go ghost, that person's like, wow, well, what the heck happened? Like that was my guy, and now you're just gonna kind of going ghost. But if you say like, I need to be transparent with my audience, you know, hey guys, this is really overwhelming me right now. I'm taking a break from social media, and the videos will come back later. Or even if you say, hey guys, I know you love my 10-minute videos, but I'm gonna be shifting that style into 2 minutes. You give your audience time to digest what you're saying, first off, so they understand like, oh man, like I love those 10-minute videos, but now I know I'm still getting my content source just in a shorter form. as like a first basis, and then two, while not everyone's gonna sympathize, not everyone has the parasocial like awareness to be like, oh, this creator's doing this to me, I can't believe they're betraying me like this. But there are some people who will understand that like they're human too. They're not a robot just pumping out videos for you to consume. A lot of the times, you might have that one fan who's like, oh, you should be making videos every day, da 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 da, do this, do that. And it's like, one, are you even really a fan at that point? Are you just doing it for me? Or are you doing it for the videos I make? But also, like, once you have people that kind of understand that you're a human and you have to take that step back, it's much nicer to them to hear that. Because it's like, imagine you had a friend that you worked out with every day, and then out of nowhere, you just stopped coming. You'd be like, where the heck are you? And then you communicate to them. They're like, oh, I don't have the time for it. Versus if they told you like, hey, I can't work out every day with you, but I can hit like the cardio session with you. It's going to be much more digestible, and you're going to understand, okay, they have a new routine that's set. I can work through that. And you know what? I'll just cherish the time we have together in this setting. So I'd say like biggest thing for me that has worked has been just routine, and then being transparent with my audience, whether it's like a new follower, whether it's people who are already following me, whether it's friends that support me or anything. So
I really like the structuring your values. So when the time comes when, you can't keep up with the videos, you shorten them, or you take a week off and you do what's best for you. Because at the end of the day, your health matters, and whatever goals you strive towards, right? There's always an opportunity cost, right? There are no solutions, only trade-offs. When you go to the gym, you miss that time that you could be just watching a movie. You could be studying at that time. When you're studying, you could be at the gym. When you eat the cookie, that's less room for veggies. You know what I mean? Or you could just have both. Like there's a trade-off. There's give and take with all this. But at the same time, you need to be able to be transparent with your audience. Because I know right now we're still a bit on the smaller side of things. But it's good to have those protocols in place, because I'm sure there's at least one person that just like looks at your story every day or waits for the content, whether it's once a week. And if you just stop posting, the person's going to wonder where you are. And if that person doesn't interact with you, right, it's radio silence. They feel betrayed. And I have always been a part of the YouTube sphere. Like I was like an internet kid. I was constantly just terminally online. And yeah, there were creators that just stopped posting. And I wondered where they were. And then years later, they just come out of nowhere and say, hey, I'm back, guys. And it's all the comments are like, hey, you betrayed us. And where were you? And it's like it's hurtful, right? Like when I was a little kid, I watched this guy named Husky Starcraft, and I watched him every day. Every day he posted gaming videos, and then he just stopped posting. And I'm like, where'd he go? And then when I got into high school, he just posted a video of him talking about how he had to take a break, about his voice. And he could have just made a video like that, and then we would all understand. And you can even take some lessons from this onto the real life interactions that we have with their family members, with their friends, as to the expectations that you hold onto people, right? And when you don't voice them out, you become resentful. Unspoken expectations are premeditated resentments, right? When you don't tell other people what you want out of them, then that breeds resentment. You know what I mean? And of course, like as a fan, like you can't really do that, right? Because what does this person want out of me? But you can voice it. You can talk to your fans so that they're not led on, right? And like if you ever have a friend that you want them to do something, they don't do that, and then you get mad at them, which I think we're all guilty of.
It happens.
And it's like that you tell that friend, and you never told me that's what you wanted. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
all about communication at the end of the day, right? It's just learning to listen to the audience, learning to listen to the people that matter in your life, and improving yourself upon that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So can you share a time when life felt overwhelming, and how did you regain balance?
I'd say like I see the most overwhelming time in my life is honestly like right now.
Really?
Yeah, it's been a lot like switching. Like last year, I switched to U of A from EQ, and I really got into my degree, like what I'm actually gonna be doing. And then like it was, I I realized I focused too much on the content creation and being at school with all my friends that like I let my academic side fall for it. And then I picked it up, fortunately, in the second semester. But like the first semester, as much as it was fun making videos and stuff, I took the hit from my school wise. And now coming into this year, I'm realizing like I need to be in the mode where I'm putting school first, no matter what. And it's been hard being able to come up with new videos and find new things to do, because sometimes I'm like, you know what? I don't feel like making a video today. I have to get 2 hours of studying in. And then balancing that on top of like wanting to work on like different movies and short films and stuff. It's been a lot. It's been a lot. And even stuff like this, like today I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to go do a podcast. And then later today I'm gonna go be an extra on a short film set. It's like there's a lot of stuff that's just stacking on top of my life. But one, it's like I love it. I love I love that I have the opportunity to do all these things. Like I can't sit here and say like, oh, I have this on my plate and this on my plate and act like they're not all things that I love doing. And like my friend just made fun of me for this. Like my steak is too rich, my butter is too buttery kind of thing. My gold is too shiny. Like I do have all these opportunities coming at me, but it's all things that I love. And like while I do feel overwhelmed right now, I am also just like prioritizing. I'm making sure that I'm putting myself in the position where if I am pursuing something, it's something that's like important and beneficial to me. And I'm not just looking for like, oh, this job's available, this thing's available, this thing's available. I want to position myself in a spot where if I am pursuing something, it's something like I'm passionate about, something that I can like be proud that I'm a product of, and that I'm also not like jeopardizing too much going into it. And I've taken a small break from videos, and I think unfortunately it sucks that like my go-to spot with my friends is closed right now. Topic at U of A. If you ever want to check it out at Hub Mall, it's like the best spot. Me and my friends have been like hanging out there for years. I used to make all my videos there. If you ever see my videos and you see like a little clothing store, that's where I would do them. I would make one every day. Like I would just go, like my friend, the manager, he would have like a little tripod. Boom, I set it up, get my video, and I'm out. So it was like really perfect. But as soon as it closed, it was like, damn, like that was like my recording spot. So it became a little bit harder to balance that out with the, just how the U of A campus is and with how busy it is. And it's like now I had to make the videos, but then it's like on top of that, I'm helping people out with like a short movie, like a bigger project that I'm working on right now. Short movie, it's gonna be called Lights On or Off. Like that's more of a prominent role where like really only a few characters, and I have pretty much predominantly, how would I word it? I'm one of the main roles. That's what I wanted to say. I'm one of the main roles in it, and it's a heavy like dialogue heavy screenplay. So that's something where it's like I have dedicated time to it as well. And it's like balancing that out with also like content creation school. It's very overwhelming. But yeah, like right now I'm just prioritizing I'm keeping in mind that I have to do what I want to do. Not as much as I want to help the community, I can't just do what others want to do. I want to do what I want to do. So I see that's like the biggest thing right now that's helping me overcome this relatively overwhelming times three.
Yeah.
Or times three.
It's like changing your mental framework of I get to instead of I have to.
Exactly.
Because I'm the same way, dude, where every day has been a grind, whether it be doing the interviews, planning out for podcasts, and just working out and studying and being there for my friends. And these are all things that I want to do.
Yeah.
Why am I complaining? It's because it can be suffocating at times.
Definitely.
Because what else would I be doing if I wasn't doing this? I'd be on my couch. I'd be on my phone. So maybe this is something that I should do, and I get to do this. Not everybody gets a chance to do this. You know, like there's going to be a point in time where nobody's just going to have time because we all have families and we're not in school anymore. And so there's that level of urgency as well, right? Like this is finite. This isn't going to be forever. Like as much as I love the community and we're all just gung-ho onto wanting to make it, there's just going to be people that stop doing it because they start having a family and they can't meet up as much and they can't show up for the podcast, right? Then it's just, yeah, that gratitude as well is a big thing that I incorporate. It's like, thank goodness, thank God that I get to do this. You know, not everybody gets a chance, but here I am, alive, well, and healthy, and I can communicate and I can connect with people. And yes, life is busy. There are problems, but is there ever going to be a day without problems? No. But there's always going to be problems. Unless you're blissed out monk in a cave meditating 24/7. But is that really a life you want to live? No. Like there's a lot of work into family and friends and goals and ambition, career. All these things require nurturing, require watering. If you don't water your plants, it withers and dies. You know, so it's always just, I picture life as like just like a relay, or not a relay, but like back and forth, like passing a ball. You know, and one day, the person on the other side just stops passing the ball, and within whatever activity that is, and that's okay. Maybe you play pass with another person or whatever activity it is, but that's all right. You know, but yeah, it's also taking the time to just relax. You know, like the world still goes on without you being there, but that's okay. You're trying your best, and it's just being forgiving with yourself, right? Because I don't know about you, but I feel guilty when I don't do stuff. I'm like, I should be at that event.
Definitely.
I should be getting after it right now. I should do that. But it's like, I should probably sleep more, should meditate a little bit. I should just have a coffee with my friend without any goal in mind, just to be there, to be truly present, which is really tough. Do you believe balance means equal time for everything? Or is it more about prioritization?
I'm a pure prioritization because like as much like it really pained me, I think, because over summer I started working almost like 5-6 days a week. Like I really wanted to build it up so that once I'm in school, like I don't have to worry about those expenses and stuff like that. And it would pain me because like the stuff like the lost and found markets, or even like the smaller markets throughout the city, where it's like I might want to sell that with my own thrifting brand. I want to sell it those, but it's like, how am I going to take off that weekend of work to be there? Or even just like to be there present with my friends. Like, oh man, now I had to take off this weekend of work. But it's like, if I'm not prioritizing those aspects, it's just going to get harder for me down the line. Now, even though I missed out on some of those opportunities, I'm in the position where I can have my brand and I can facilitate it through not only like Topic Mall, but I have the ability to it's an Instagram account. So at the end of the day, if I want to shift, or what I plan to do in shifting it is just posting my clothes and being like, hey, if you're interested, shoot me a DM. We'll link up on U of A campus. Boom, sell it to you right on the person. And it's like, if I don't prioritize, if I try to prioritize like my brand and try to make it this big thing, I might dip into my academics might dip, my social battery overall might just dip. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to do content creation. I just want to sell clothes. And it's like, if you don't prioritize things in life, you're never going to find true balance. Because I always think of it this way. You can have a scale. Not everything has to be on the same exact level. If you want like 50-50, you know, you might, or if you want the scale to be balanced, you might have to have 5 coins and 5 coins on one, and then a stack of 6 and a stack of 4. That stack of 6 might be school. That stack of 4 might be concentration. On the other side, the 5 and 5 are work and working out, or work and exercise. Not everything has to be like completely equal and leveled for it to be 20. Or say you're trying to get to 20. You might have, or I'll put it this way. If you have your time overall is equal to 100, you might take 50% out of it for school. But then you also have like, oh, I'm dedicating 10% of that to work. I'm dedicating then the rest of the 40% to whatever creative endeavors you're doing. Within that, we are technically prioritizing that big 50%. But that big 50%, through prioritizing that, you might have the opportunity to then say like, okay, I'm allocating 5% of that 50 into something else. Or you might be able to like, this is going so well in that 50, I can take that 40 and dedicate it to something else. So prioritizing not only helps you realize what you need to work on most. You can prioritize something to the point where it doesn't become a priority, or you can prioritize something so well and become so established in it that you can then allocate your time to other sources or other elements in your life. So balancing, while it may seem optimal, everyone wants balance. Sometimes you don't need balance. Sometimes you do need to be the best at something. I always refer to sports. Some teams in sports, you know what? They prioritize defense. Like, we are a defensive team and we're really good at that. And then they translate that into offense. And some teams are like, you know what? We're just going to outscore and outpace our team. Or like an offensive team will worry about defense later. And sometimes you find success through prioritization. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes you say we're going in all defense and then you can't score. Sometimes you say we're going all offense and you can't defend. So while it does happen, and in those situations, you might think, oh, well, we just balance it out, offense and defense. But it's like, oh, well, the offense and defense aren't good enough. So sometimes you do have to just prioritize one aspect. And I think translating that to life is something that, well, it might not work for everyone. I'm not saying everyone out there should learn or should just have their priorities, completely set and you can't find balance in anything. But I think especially for people like me who are young and, still going through school or still working on stuff, you do have to set your priorities straight. But also by setting your priorities straight, you further develop, or your scheduling, or you can develop new traits that'll be beneficial to you later on in life. Where if you can have your priority be work right now or school right now, but you can still balance having your content creation, your arts, whatever it is on the side. Imagine when you're not in school. Think about how good you'll be at managing then family, family, future work, different opportunities, traveling. Imagine how much better you'll be at prioritizing or balancing out those things in comparison to whatever else you're doing. So I'm always going to be a prioritizing guy.
Yeah. It's what even is balance, right? I think it's more like a feeling based approach. When somebody feels truly balanced, that just means they're content, right? But sometimes, to be great, you need to tip the scale in the other end. The reason that person became the strongest person in the world, Thor Bjergsen, Eddie Hall, breaking those records, Brian Shaw, is because they were willing to sacrifice certain aspects. And, Eddie Hall talked about this and to how his marriage was failing and he wanted to be there for his kids, but he just needed to train. He just wanted to be great. But it really depends what you're willing to risk and what you're willing to pay for later on. Right? Because for me, I always have room for family and friends. That's something and my health. But I will sacrifice school at times, which I shouldn't. I will sacrifice my sleep, which I know health. Without health, this is something that every time I talk to seniors, every time I talk to people way older than us in their 50s, 60s, health seems to be the one that keeps coming back. So that's something that I want to be number one, that I don't want to sacrifice anything or for my health, because at the end of the day, what do you have without the health? And it's just like, it always goes back to like reflecting, right? And like a lot of what we do is like feeling based and doing what's best for you. And it's all art at the end of the day. It's crazy. What dreams are you currently chasing, and what inspired you to pursue them?
My dream right now is it's not like I wouldn't say it's conventional. I don't like, although I pursue a lot of creative endeavors, I don't want to be like an Oscar winning actor. I don't want to, get 10 million followers on my socials. I don't want to start my brand and have it be worldwide. All those things are just like a or an expansion that could happen. But like my true dream is just to create like have tangible pieces of art that are immortal on this earth, because nothing on earth is truly immortal except art. Everything else has their time. Things go by. Your social media may fall off. Instagram could be gone tomorrow. The Senate or the government could just say, you know what, we're getting rid of all social media, your videos. And then while your social media may be gone, those videos, the art that you created still exists and it still has meaning. So my dream has always just been to create tangible and immortal pieces of art that I can look back on later in life, or even future people can look back on later through their lives and say, like, this person was here. Yeah. Because nothing on this, we only have a fixated amount of time on this earth. Even if we think about the history of the world, you and me right now are snaps in terms of the entire grand spectrum of it. But the art pieces that we do, the moments that we do or that we have, and the creative pieces of art that we make, those will never expire. We still watch movies from however long ago. We still awe at the Mona Lisa. We still look at cave drawings from the Egyptians. Like, there's so many different pieces of art on this earth that'll always be immortal, because whether they're important to you or they're important to someone else, they existed, and we have we have knowledge of them. We see that those things happen. Even if they don't know that it's you, it's still a piece of art that is like reflected, and it will never die. Art will never die, no matter what it is. Even if they try to ban it, even if they try to do whatever to it, art is the one thing on the earth right now that's truly immortal. Nothing will ever happen to the art pieces that we have. Even if you saw them a painting once, that is ingrained into your mind, whether you think you forgot it or not. And it truly becomes immortal, because then that one thing that you saw will get passed down to so many people. The reason that we have someone like Michael Jackson, an 8 or a 2-year-old from this day isn't going to know who Michael Jackson is, but it's like his music has become immortal because it's been passed down for so many years. And it's like even someone like Elvis Presley, he's not in many conversations now. He's been passed away for a while, but his music is immortal. It's being passed down for generations. Movies, art, books, so many different things are the only things in the world that are truly immortal. And while as much as I would love to be, or I wouldn't love to be immortal myself and just live and pass my knowledge forever, I do want to have something on the earth that I can use to pass down and truly have like my mark on the earth, or my mark in the little bit of time that I spent on the earth, I'd say.
Like, we are not here forever. I think there's this quote by Marcus Aurelius as to, like, why do so many people behave like they're immortal? Like dwelling on the trivia things. Well, it's hard because I certainly deal with just focusing too much on the little things, like, oh, this little mole on my forehead, or this scar. But really, like, who's gonna remember that? The people that hate on you are gonna be dead one day, and all your family and friends we're all gonna be dead one of these days. And the things that stick are your creations, or like how you made people feel, right? How will you be remembered? And I really want kind of the future generations to be listening to this podcast and just going, I had a pretty cool grandpa or great grandpa. Because realistically, like, who really has a relationship with their great grandpa? Like, nobody, like, rarely, unless they, like, every single kid within the generation had a kid as soon as they turned 18. Like I never really had a relationship with my grandpa, but I hear stories from my dad onto when they were kids, and yeah, it's cool to hear about it. But as for my great grandpa, like, who is this guy?
Don't really know any.
But like, this guy went through struggles, right? And if he had a social media account and he had a podcast, I'd be listening to it, bro. Like, could you imagine, like, 200 years later?
Yeah.
And I'm some kids like 12, and they're like, like they have some sort of project in school, and they want to explore kind of they won't go to Ancestry, the olden days, and they come across this
podcast. Yeah.
Like, somebody's gonna be listening to this
talking about the olden days. Yeah.
200, 300 years later. I'm like,
this is what they look like back then.
Look at these ancient mics. Look at their like style. Like, isn't that they're so weird?
They have to talk into the devices.
They talk like, I didn't know
they're in the same room. They're not just communicating.
Yeah, they're not. They don't have that hive mind. It's crazy, man. And maybe you and I will still be around. Maybe we'll be AI
and computers.
We'll be talking. But yeah, man. Yeah, it's crazy how technology just advances so fast, right? And yes, art will be forever. And yeah, all those clips on Instagram, like, hey, honey, I found a picture of your grandpa, and it just shows you in the Hot Topic. Try not to move close. How do you stay motivated when the path towards your goals becomes difficult?
I always put it like this. Part of the benefit of having creative friends is that you can use them as inspiration. One time I was just chilling with my friends. We had like a really fun day of recording in Topic at Hub Mall. And I told my friend, I was like, or for anyone who's ever seen One Piece watching this, the grouping of pirates that come up like around the main character's time, they're called the worst generation.
Bro, sorry to cut you off, but you're like the 100th person that's like watch One Piece. I gotta watch One Piece one of these days, because I've just been I'm so hesitant because it's like so many episodes, but like
you'll breeze through it.
But go on with your story.
But yeah, to get back onto that, the group of characters that are like in that era, or like who are the newcomers, they're called the worst generation. And it's just a grouping of pirates who are like, they think one of them is going to become the next pirate king. And then you have the main character, but then you have like all these different side characters. And it's like each one may be doing a different thing. And a lot of them do have different goals. Like some of them want to be the pirate king. Some of them just want to find out their history. Some of them want to take over like so many different characters, all with different goals. But they all use each other to like motivate themselves. And they also sometimes like they might work together. They might work against each other. They might have to go through different paths, but they use each other as motivation. And that's how I see my friend group. Like as much as it's much less competition of like, oh, I want to be better than them. But it's more so like, look at him go. This guy, like I have a friend named Jackson. He posts like almost every single day. And I'm like, wow, this guy's like, he's so dedicated to his craft. Like I need to get on that. I need to be posting every single day. I need to be making those moves to put myself in the right positions where I can be like, hey, I posted for a week straight. It's stuff like that seeing my friends around me gain success, gain followers, do whatever it is, achieve their dreams. It makes me want to be like, I need to be like that too. Because having people around you that can see the potential in you is very important, because you can have friends who are just constantly like, hey, you're doing your thing, man, great job. But it's like you and yourself, like, I'm not doing a great job. You're just saying that. Versus having friends who are also growing next to you, and you can recognize that and be like, you know what, we are doing a great job, versus like just being mano y mano. I think like while being like having friends in the industry, as much as like people talk about, and like people like Drake talk about like, oh, I have no friends in this industry. Nobody makes it by themselves. He wouldn't have made it if it wasn't for Lil Wayne, and then all the people he worked with. And it's like J. Cole wouldn't have made it if he didn't have friends, and then they connected him to Jay-Z. Kendrick Lamar wouldn't have made it if he didn't get connected to Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. Like
And
all these,
they wouldn't have made it without the family members who supported them.
Exactly.
And like all the things, there was somebody when they were in their adolescence that guided them, that showed them rap, that showed them this one piece of music that transcended their entire mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everyone has you need people around you who are not only just like making moves. You need people around you who are like pushing themselves so that you can reflect on that and look at them and be like, that friend is pushing themselves. I need to be like that too. And that's why I love all my friends. But the thing I love most about them is how hungry they all are. All my friends are like, I'd say even within my friend group, like I think each one of us is like either working on a brand or doing some creative format, whether it's like friends that make clothing, friends that rework clothing. So like my friend Bradley, who I do the interviews with and who we genuinely like do everything. Like we do every creative project together. We wind up doing it together. But there's so many different avenues in which my friends are doing great things that reminds me like, not only do I have to like be on that mindset, I'm like, I can't fall behind from these guys. Like I can't fall behind, and it's not necessarily a race, but it's like, you don't want to be that person to bow out. You don't want to be that person who's like, you don't want to be the one who doesn't make it, whatever you make it to be, whether it's like you take your brand to the next level, even if it's like, oh, I want to start a brand and I want to make it nonprofit and I only want to give free clothes away. You don't want to be that one person who can't achieve your dream, no matter what it is. And so many people don't get the chance to achieve their dreams in life. And when you have friends around you that are all dream chasers, it should make you a dream chaser as well. Because what are you doing if you're not chasing your dream and all your friends are? Things get in the way of life. Not, you might have all your friends who want to go to the major sports league and one friend gets injured and he has to change it. That's a different scenario. But when you all have the ability to reach that goal, you're surrounding yourself with people who have like goals or even their dream chasers too, like that should be your motivation. I always find that like surrounding yourself with people who push themselves is the best motivation. Even like my brother going on this podcast, when I saw it, I was like, wow, Courtney, like that's sick. Like you got to go on a podcast. Like that motivated me to be like, I want to be on a podcast someday.
Bro, Corday, man, I love that guy. He's gonna make a phenomenal lawyer.
Definitely.
So disciplined, and bro, I can see why you guys are brother. I see how you guys are related. You're both very hungry.
Yeah.
You guys are very motivated. Was that just like instilled by the parents, by the family?
I would say, yeah. Everyone, like, we both grew up playing sports. Don't tell him. I can say he started playing football because of me. I was a football. I was the football player in the family first, and then I got too many concussions and I had to stop playing. But we were always playing sports since we were kids. Like he was a big soccer guy. Like I played football. Then he eventually started doing it. So, and then obviously like our parents and our dad would like push like, you know what, if you're gonna play sports, like you gotta put effort in. You can't just like, I'm not putting you into these sports just so you can not put in effort. And then that kind of translates to everything else being like, you know what, if we're gonna instill and put the time and the money into this, we want to see you put your best foot forward.
Like with you guys as brothers, it seems you establish a goal and you get after it and you do whatever it takes. Like when I was sitting down in the sky, I was like, this guy's got an entire system. Like this guy is relentless and he's got structure and he's disciplined and he does not know when to stop.
No.
And I see that in you too. And you guys will go far, and it's cool to just have you guys on just to look back as well. Like, wow, like in our 20s, it's good to see how far we have come. And this is what the podcast is for, is to like, yes, I care about views and I want people to follow it, but more so I really appreciate people coming on to tell me about their stories and their ambitions, their mindsets, right? Because we will look back onto this one day and go, huh, look how far I've come. Look how far that it took me, right? That with the same mindset, like it was all worth it.
Definitely. Yeah.
And I'm very hopeful for the future, man. And there's just so many opportunities.
Mm.
Like, I got that abundance mindset, and I really, really like your idea of like, we can't make it alone.
Mm.
Like, yeah, Drake wouldn't have made it without Lil Wayne. Maybe he have, but maybe he wouldn't be as big as he is today.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. And I wouldn't be where I am today without the nurture of my mother, without the support of my father, without my siblings, without you guys, without people believing in what I believe in. Because I've met so many people that just don't see my vision. Right? I tell them about an idea and they're just not as enthusiastic about it. Maybe they just they have different priorities, different values. They don't want to show up to it, and they don't have that creative side to them. They just want to do the 9 to 5, get their degree. They don't really want to be a part of the community. And okay, I'm just going to spend less time with that person because they just don't uplift me. But then there's people like you. I'm like, I want to keep in touch with this person. I want to make sure I'm watching all their videos. I want to make sure I'm rising with them.
Yeah.
Because throughout this journey, this podcast journey, and being in school, like, you just meet so many phenomenal people, which is crazy because a year before, you had no idea this person existed. And then now you're hanging out with them once a week, and you're on their show and you're on their project, and you open up to them about some struggles in the past. And it's like, whoa, not only are they uplifting me in my creative endeavor, but they're a friend. They're a person that I can rely on. And if I was locked up in Guantanamo Bay, I'd call, help me out here. What advice would you give to others who are hesitant to take that first step towards chasing their dreams?
Man, I'm the big reliever that, like, the people that we look up to nowadays, like, imagine if they never took the first step. Imagine if LeBron James never picked up a basketball. Imagine if he said, you know what, I come from poverty, I'm going to stay down here, and that's going to be it. Imagine if Messi said, when the doctors told him, oh, you're lacking HGH, you know what, you're not going to become a soccer player, if he just stopped there.
They tell him that?
Oh yeah, he has he was low in human, he had low growth hormone levels, and so they told him, like, you're probably not going to be good at soccer. And then he ended up just training enough to where I think it was a team in Spain or Argentina, or I think it was Spain, I could be wrong, but essentially they saw his talent and they said, we'll go through the procedure so that he could get whatever he needs to continue growing, and then ended up becoming Messi. So there's so many ways, or so many versions of reality where whoever you look up to said, you know what, this thing is in my way from my dream, I'm going to stop. So I am always the biggest proprietor of take the first step to following your dream, whatever. And you don't necessarily, people always think to do whatever you need to do, you have to have every tool in front of you. Oh, I want to make content. I need best camera. I need a tripod. I need a ring light. I need background lighting. I need a mic. Not at all. When I first started making my fashion videos, I didn't own a tripod. I didn't have anything. All I would do is I would just find a ledge. I would put my phone up there, or if I was out with my friends, I would use their tripod, and that would be what I record with. Even to this day, I don't bring it when I would record videos in Topic. Some days I wouldn't have a tripod in school. Some days my friend wouldn't have his tripod. I would find a ledge on the door and I put my phone there and then record my video. And you work around with what angles, you see what you can do, and you make the best of it. So if you're a real dream chaser, you will find any way possible to get to where your dream is. That's my biggest thing. And for people who don't want to take the first step, first off, what's stopping you? Unless it's genuinely something like crazy, like, you know what, you're in a terrible condition, that's understandable. But if you have the ability to achieve your dream and you're not doing it, you're doing nothing but limiting yourself. And at that point, the only person that you're screwing over is you. Because my second biggest thing is that, like, you have to understand that it's not your fans' dream. It's not your parents' dream. Maybe it's your parents' dream. It's not your brother's dream, your sister's dream, or anyone's dream. At the end of the day, even if it is the same as someone, it's your dream. If it's your dream to make the NBA, hundreds of people have that dream as well. But at the end of the day, it's your story and your legacy that'll be cemented once you get to that dream and once you take it to the next level. You know, there are so many people who have similar dreams. Oh, I want to be an Oscar-winning actor. I want to do this. I want to do that. But not only one person is going to get casted for a role. So you can be an Oscar-winning. Your dream could be to be an Oscar-winning actor, but then it's like, oh, you get an Oscar for this movie. You get an Oscar for this movie. There's so many different ways in which your dream can be achieved that to cement yourself to say, like, I don't want to take that first step because, you know, oh, so many other people have had this dream and it doesn't work out. That's just limiting yourself to the possibilities that there are. There's the average human life expectancy is what, about 80 years or something around that. And it's only getting lower year by year. So realistically, you're only losing out on time that you have to achieve your dream. So starting out as young as possible, or starting out at all, it's something that you're just, by not doing it, you're stopping yourself from becoming who you really want to be. You meet so many people. I've met so many people who are like in their 40s, 50s. They have thousands of dollars, all these fancy cars, all this stuff. And they're like, I wish I went back in my life and I followed what I wanted to do. I wish I did this. I wish I became a singer. I wish I became an actor. I wish I stuck around and helped the people from back home. Like, there's so many dreams that they had that although they got to maybe the point they wanted to be in life, they're like, I wish I followed my dream. So many people have gone through that. And nevertheless, there are still people who are hesitant to follow that dream. And it is understandable because, you know, your dream might not translate to the life you want. You might end up being like, oh, I wanted to be my dream is to be a teacher and educate people. And now you have situations like right now where the teachers have to go on strike because they're not getting the appropriate treatment that they deserve. And while having a dream does come with the risk of, you know, I had to make sacrifices to achieve it. There's certain things that you'll have to do to get to where your dream scenario is. Not taking at least the first step to get there, you're already screwing yourself over. There's no way, shape, or form that I would ever perceive the little time we have on this planet Earth and think I'm not going to try and achieve my dream. And the the verse or lyric that really made me realize it is from Kendrick Lamar's song called "Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst." Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst. It's a 12-minute ballad. But at the end of the first real song or in it, he says, am I worth it? Did I put enough work in? And he's talking about his dream of uplifting his community and helping people. And it made me think, like, when I look back at the end of my life, am I going to be able to say, am I worth it? Like, did I put enough work in to achieve my dream? Did I make the sacrifices? Did I take the first step to get where I want to be? And I don't want to be in a position where I may have all the riches and success in the world, but I'm looking back and I say, I didn't put enough work in. Like, I wasn't worth it to myself to get to where I want to be or follow my dream. So when it comes to the root of taking the first step, I always advise people just do it. Whether you want to be a designer, go to the thrift store, pick up some clothes, and then just start cutting stuff up. Start finding new designs. Use the resources that are available to you to gain knowledge on how you can follow your dream. If you want to be a model, go out and find people who are owning brands and communicate with them. If you want to be an athlete, go out and you don't have to have a gym membership. Run, do push-ups, do whatever you need to hone your skills. If you want to be a chef, you know, go learn. Go to ask a random kitchen. Say, can I wash dishes for a week, or can I wash dishes for however long? And then start looking at the chefs and asking them questions. There's so many different avenues in which you can take that first step to achieve your dream. And it might take your whole life to achieve your dream. But in doing that, you're still following it and you're still pursuing what you want to do. And I'm not a super spiritual person, but I believe if you feel it in your soul that you are doing what your dream is, what you're meant to do on this earth, nothing's more fulfilling than that. And nothing will be more fulfilling than looking back and saying, wow, I took that first step to make it there. So that would be my answer.
Yeah, thank you, man. That was a really well thought out answer. And I feel like somebody listening right now is deriving a lot of value as to your story and your ambition and your drive. And how old are you?
20.
Wow, and you're still so young, and you're making moves, man. You're making moves, and you seem to have reflected onto your life, and you're certainly not wasting it. Let's just say that.
I realized, like, coming from a small town like Edmonton, where you're not going to have a lot of opportunities to do what you want in the creative scene, and it's flourishing. Don't get me wrong, there's so many people doing amazing things, but at the same time, we will never have the availability of a New York, to where there's all the $1 billion artists, the $1 billion fashion designers, the $1 billion movie execs. We are Edmonton. I love the city to death. As much as people talk down on Edmonton, I love the city to death. I was born and raised here. But, you know, I really don't want to waste my time, to keep it simple. I don't know if I'll be here my entire life. So if I can say, this is what I built up here in Edmonton, I want to be proud of that and say my dream started in Edmonton and it flourished and took me there to this place. So I want to take pride in saying that.
Thank you so much for coming on the long-term podcast.
Of course.
Othaeron.
Thank you for having me.
I have a lot of respect for you, man. And I see your determination, and I see the courage that it takes to take that step forward, right? I know it's not easy. It ain't easy.
Not at all.
But you're making it happen, bro. So, kudos to you, and good luck with school. Good luck with, the different projects, and, we got to hang out more one of these days on campus. And yeah, man, I'm thankful.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me. I love the podcast. Shout out to everyone watching.
Yeah.
Do you do shout outs?
Yeah, dude.
If you do want to follow me, you can find me at just my name, Othaeron Ross, on Instagram. And then I do run a small thrifting brand called Thrifts by Othaeron, or TBO. If you look that up, you can find me there. And if you're ever on the U of A campus, you just want to say what's up, I'll always say hi. So hope to see you guys out there. Thank you for having me again.
Yeah, bro. And as always, to everyone listening, there is a place for you in this chaotic world. Never lose hope, strengthen your faith, and keep it long term. Othaeron Ross, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Awesome. That was a cool outro. Long term.
Keep it long term.
Sick.